The first 30 days, you're going to go through something we call a design phase.
So in the first phase, in the first design review gate, there are certain deliverables. You have to create about 8 documents. Number 1 is your idea scope. It means the boundaries of your idea. The second thing we're going to ask you is to define your scope. Once you've framed the idea and we know what is included and what is excluded, we now dissect the idea, define it in various elements, the elements of your idea. Now we focus internally. So the next delivery we ask you is to create a draft scope of work document. Now we try to break down what elements have to be delivered, what's required for those elements, and who's going to execute it. So next you've got your draft technical specifications, right? So that explains a bit more about what, and then you've got your draft project plan. Now, the how is the combination of all these documents.
We were expecting that the gate review will be like a public presentation or a public discussion with all the teams, but we found that they're taking each team in a small meeting room, in one table, and it's just one-to-one discussion.
Kamal, no, he was a completely different person. I mean, like, yeah, but we do respect this. I mean, we know that at some point that you really need to show another face and get really serious.
Polytimer has been asked to go ahead and look at their gaming script.
I was told what I actually somehow I thought that I would be told. I have to work more on business model, on marketing, etc. Well, I just I knew somehow. I guessed it would happen. Yeah, they would tell me that.
Yes, we do have the drone technology, but the drone technology in itself is not going to cut what we're looking for. The idea here is that we would basically have a game, and it is essential to have a script.
It's not that easy to persuade. Maybe it's my lack of not enough effort was done to persuade in the right way, but I will do my best. I will do my best because yes, I do believe that this idea has a huge potential.
Dream Notes as a team, we found, were way behind on their deliverables.
So what's the idea? I'm still confused. Hosting dreams. It's the same pitch you guys did back in Belarus. It's the same pitch.
They did not have a product strategy. They did not have an approach on what they were actually going to do with regards to their product.
It was very hard because we shall make 8 documents. One document was about technical specification, and so we are not technical guys, we cannot do it.
We asked them to really decide on what is it that Dream Notes is going to do. The issue really is that there are tools out there today that will allow you to register whatever you want to register. So you could go to Facebook and you could log in your dream and share it with your friends.
Another 7 documents we made not so good because we have 1 week to make it better, to make some research.
Because we couldn't figure out how they were going to make money.
Today was somehow perfect. I was so confident, relying on my data, relying on the studying. I have studied till 14 or 16 days, working hard. So I was somehow confident from my work.
Kintrans during Gate Review 1 were basically asked to focus on their minimum viable product. That's an activity that definitely needs to be undertaken.
The problem wasn't the paper. I having not fill up the canvas, but I'm having the data in the presentation, having it in my roadmap, having all the necessary data in the files, but not collected together in the canvas. And I'm thinking that it's not important to do the canvas, but Kamal told me that just fill it, it will make a guideline for you if you got away with the road or something like that. So I didn't do it bad, but تحرجناش بقى يا راجل.
There were also issues particularly with regards to the team, given that one of the team members, there were some issues that needed to be sorted out. Kintrans has been asked to resolve those issues with their existing team member and then focus on the minimum viable product.
I was fighting to pass this gate review, trying to be more good, having no sleep, having no time to eat. Then I think this is really fight, calling myself as a ninja of the company. Yeah, it's great.
Travel matchmaking was particularly asked during the design review to focus on the approach that they are taking with regards to their product.
We have some questions from, we discussed the document, we have some questions from the supervisors from the team, and I think we need, how to say, we have some days to fix the problems, to fix the questions.
The initial approach was found to be very old-fashioned, and they were asked to look at more in terms of how things could be based on language processing rather than they being form-based. We also, they've been kind of behind on what they needed to do, and they were asked to focus on their deliverables and to accomplish certain activities within the next week following this particular design review.
So, yeah, so we need to work hard.
Tarifa has a minimum viable product with regards to the technology. They need to focus again on how they're going to market, what is going to be their business model, and how they're going to basically present this information to the vendors themselves.
Actually, it was tough. They asked about different stages, the business, the technical aspect, the pricing model, the business model, and mainly how we're gonna make money.
At this particular point in time, Tarifa has managed to get some external funding, which is good for their project. But that besides the point. From a gate review standpoint, they actually have been they have to firm up on their business model.
One of the committee from the gate review was not convinced very well with our business model. So we need to convince him in a long time how this will gonna work actually. We did our work, of course, and we validated this business model here in the Emirates as well as the culture of the MENA region. But some of the numbers we used was from US and Europe, because these numbers are not available here so much. So this was an issue for him. But we convinced him the long way, and he ends up convinced very well. Thank God.
Crowd Analyzer, they have been asked to basically put together their minimum viable product.
a lot of questions. Some of them were expected and others weren't.
What they are going to bring into the product with regards to the information that they're going to analyze, and again, who is going to be the customer base for this. Their emphasis with regards to Franco-Arabic analysis also needs to be looked at, particularly with regards to doing the language sentiment analysis.
They were asking about like the future review gates. For instance, they were asking about the marketing plan and branding plan, and it's not included in this specific review gates. So it wasn't in our priority. We were actually focused on the business model canvas and the technical specifications, but we didn't concern about the branding and marketing plan now. So they were asking a lot about it. And actually, the other thing was the competitive advantage. They were asking a lot about our competitive advantage because we have out there some competitors. So they weren't like so confident that this competitive advantage is enough.